He's not going to hurt me tonight, Marietta, his hometown. I'm getting rid of him.
Well, indeed. Some interesting comments. And Mr. Ladd...
Did you see how black and blue that egg-sucking dog was today? You see his head busted over to his back end, all beat up, bruised up. Looked like he had been in a hatchet fight, and everybody had a hatchet but him. But I can assure you one thing. I know he's stooping very low. He's gone to the bottom of the barrel to get old Thundermouth out of the barrel. Holler, yick, 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 yuck, 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 yick, 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 yuck, yuck, yuck. Ain't nobody gonna do this, and I ain't nobody gonna do that. Well, you gonna suck eggs like old egg-sucking dog, Thundermouth. I guarantee you, bring your carcass back here, Thundermouth. Somebody's gonna hurt you. You know what they say about your kind and my kind? We can't stand one another, Thundermouth. And Thundermouth, you get out of here before I get in here because you're scared of me. And you better get out of here again because I'll hurt you for the rest of your life. You'll be crippled in the head. Hey, wait a minute. We don't want no secrets out. Because we have a little necktie party for that egg-sucking dog. And I feel sorry for you, Thundermouth, for being such a big fool to be a part of something that's going to get you hurt.
Let me ask you a question.
Hey, you're not in this. Hey, look, we're not revealing nothing. You direct all your information to me and get that camera and don't be trying to figure out who this gentleman is. All I know is a fine gentleman, and he gets the job done. He won't turn his back on you. He won't be like the egg-sucking dog. Lay down. Hey, camera people, don't be doing it. What are you trying to do?
Well, I'd like to ask him
Look,
I'll tell you what.
Just tell the man to keep the camera in one place and don't go crazy. Now, what question do you want to know?
Well, I wanted to ask him a question.
You want to ask me a question? What do you want to ask me?
No, I don't think I have any further questions for you, Mr. Ladd, or for this gentleman as far as that goes.
This gentleman take care of business. We take care of plenty of business. We take care of. We're going to get in the ring, and we're going to take care of some plenty serious.
Thank you very much, and here's a special word of interest to all wrestling fans.
Attack skills and vocabulary too. Comprehension of this edition is all brand new. You're through. I'm interplanetarian like Doctor Who. So who?
Fuck your beef, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
What's up, everybody? It's Ringtime Pro Wrestling. Keith and Keisha in the building. I got Keisha laughing. She got me laughing.
Laughing
at me down a little bit because I was on 10 before we started recording. Because, man, people that make me mad. We're going to adjust the format today because usually we do news and notes in the middle of the show. But I am going to hit something early before we even start reviewing this wrestling. Because Randy Orton got these Twitter fingers and he clapping on Twitter tonight.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Randy Orton just saying entirely too much. I'm going to really need for him to shut down his opinions, please and thank you. As a black person, like, I am not offended, but I am pissed off. Like, like it is a difference now. Let's just be real. But it's funny. I was on Facebook, before we get into that, I was on Facebook the other day, and it was something that was said, and then I believe it was true. If you are not black, please do not tell a black person how to feel about their oppression. About oppression, period. Like, don't tell an oppressed person how to be oppressed. That's not okay. It's not cool. We don't give a fuck about your opinion. Yeah, I said it. I don't give a damn. Anyway, so Randy Orton decides he wants to criticize Colin Kaepernick on his peaceful and nonviolent protest of the national anthem. He wanted to give his opinions on Twitter because, of course, everybody got a tweet these days. So they read as follows. Sneering, more like shaking my head. Courage, laugh out loud. Right. Courage. That's what it takes to stand up and fight, not raise a fist. That was his one single tweet about Colin Kaepernick. And then there was also a teacher in North Carolina that was suspended for stomping on a flag. This was his opinion about that. suspense should fire his ass. Americans are dying. Pigment of skin doesn't matter. American people matter. Okay, Orton. With all due respect, actually none of that shit. Shut the fuck up. Like that's gonna be my one and only response to all this bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. Excuse my language of all levels, but yeah, whatever. Fuck you. Like, I don't have time for this. I don't. Like, who in the fuck are you to really sit here and make any level of comments about this the way you have? Like, on some real shit. No one cares, Randy. No one cares. So, that's me giving Keisha's 2 cents about that, because that's exactly how the hell I feel, and no, I am not apologetic about it. Whatever. Keith, I know I went a little off on the deep end, but you know, hey, whatever.
You know how hard it was not to title this show Fuck Randy Orton? like on some real shit, though. He went to my man Dave Zirin from Edge of Sports, because Dave Zirin tweeted some things about it and, talking about it. And he was like, real courage is fighting and not not raising a fist and da-da-da. Look, man, you ain't nobody to check anybody's courage.
Right.
Last I checked, your ass left the military because you went AWOL.
Exactly.
Right?
Talking
and
about
just went home for it and just said, fuck it. Because you couldn't hack whatever was going on. Now, I heard your explanation. And I'm not here's the thing. I'm not going to do what you do with the black people. I'm not going to try to discredit your situation. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you was wrong. Because I don't know. You might have been going through some fucked up things, right? So you felt you had to get out of there. So you deserted the United States military, the Marine Corps, because of things that you felt were unethical and things that were not going your way. All right, cool. I ain't got no problem with that because, hey, shit happens.
Right.
But people are being murdered in the street. And here's the thing. The murdering thing is huge. It's monumental. But on day-to-day, wearing this black out of the house is a problem. Right?
Right.
We are disproportionately targeted by the police. I mean, just too many facts and statistics that fly in the face of everything he said. Right? Just this year, 800 people have been killed by the police. Right? Disproportionate number of them are black males. 102 of those black males were unarmed.
Right. So
they didn't even have, mind you, when I say killed, these are only shooting statistics. These don't count the beating last night of Tawan Boyd in Baltimore. It doesn't count the choking of Eric Garner. It don't count, hey, the mysterious whatever happened to Freddie Gray, how he got his spinal cord snapped. It don't count how, hey, we just picked up Sandra Bland and we don't know what happened to her.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Those are even, like, the numbers just keep staggering. The fact, Keisha, I can just rattle off cases.
Yeah.
67 people have been killed by the police since Kaepernick started protesting.
67 in a 22-day period.
Like
22.
It's fucking ridiculous. Okay? All right. I just watched a dude get killed on video. And he had his hands up.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I watched the day before them catch a terrorist who set off bombs in 5 different places. They said he was armed and dangerous. They rolled up on him. It was true. He was armed and dangerous. He returned fire against the police. He made it out alive.
Alive. They up there taking pictures in his face, and they got him on a stretcher, but he was still breathing, eyes wide open. He gonna live to see tomorrow. A terrorist now.
Here's my thing. I think it shows an immense lack of empathy, and I think it shows a very narrow-minded view of the world. If you say, hey, this is people are dying, it's kind of specific. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's kind of specific. I just couldn't. Usually these worlds don't intersect. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm highly opinionated on these issues, and I can hit you with all the facts and figures, statistics that you need, right? Like, they out there, they're not hiding. The press does a very good job. there's a lot of academic research that's been done by Stanford, Harvard. You know what I mean? Like, let's not. I just think that, you know, it would take a little more work than just to be just so narrow-minded about these things. And I get you have an opinion, but it comes from what I've discovered so far in the process of this is that white males specifically are very indignant to the idea of that there's this major injustice going on, right?
Right.
But I get it, because their world doesn't revolve around that, right? Because white women, if you look at like the WNBA protests, it's the entire teams protesting.
Yeah.
White and black players. You understand what I'm saying? Megan Rapinoe, the soccer player, is a white woman who happens to be part of the LGBT community. So I think she gets it from both ends. She's a woman, and she's... Because women, I think, get it more because, hey, it's not the same, but you do understand there's problems being a woman in this country too, right?
Oh, of course.
Which is also a whole other Black Lives Matter issue, because if you're a black woman, you may not get shot by the police, but you still might get sexually assaulted and not get taken a look at.
Not even care.
So I want you to really understand what people go through. But hey, you know, like I said, this whole episode could be fuck Randy Orton, but I really what it is, I think it's just that he comes from a place of not understanding because he doesn't have to, right?
No, not at all.
Also, I want you to understand, he's a white man that grew up in St. Louis. If you understand anything about St. Louis and the racial politics of St. Louis, understand this is a big city that doesn't have an NBA team for a reason.
Right.
Like, there is a level of racial politics in St. Louis that you probably could do some research. Which, hey, Ferguson, Missouri, not that far away. So, you know what I mean, to understand it.
Right.
Of where we're at. And, I mean, I could single out a city, but, man, hey, I grew up in the metro Detroit area, and the segregation and the things of discrimination and how things go down in there are ridiculous. I mean, the entire state of Michigan, the Flint water crisis. I mean, like, stuff is getting cartoon level that happens to black people. Like, you cannot fully get, like, sometimes I wonder, like, is this 65?
You really have to question it. And the fact that you have, it keeps, you know, I don't know if you realize this or not, but you have just went from one topic to the next, to the next, to the next. But we're still talking about the exact same thing. Like, you've just given at least 3 different examples of injustices against black people, and we're still talking about the same thing. This is still the same conversation. This is still the same conversation. And yet, it's done so many different ways, it's ridiculous. Like, it's sickening. And no, I was just saying this earlier today. I'm like, I don't know if people realize it or not, but we're in 2016. 2016, 2016. Like, we're not even in the 1900s anymore. Like, this has been gone. And yet, the way it looks and the way everything is happening and the reality of the situations is, it doesn't feel any different. Like, like, I'm pretty sure it's not different. Someone said something that I kind of was like, what the hell? They were like, I don't know who said it. Like, racism has gotten better, but it's just all over the social media. I'm like, no, there's nothing better about anything. Let's get this straight now. It's not better. It's now being broadcasted more because of social media and technology and a camera being, like, everywhere. That's the only difference. That's literally the only difference.
Trust me, I think this is something we've complained about for years internally. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now other people are forced to pay attention to it. So, I mean, that's just where we are, right?
Right.
And I think I think it's hilarious just to watch somebody like Randy Orton is the epitome of white privilege at this point.
Yeah.
Like, he sits upon his tie horse and he looks down on people. And mind you, he's in an industry that favors him because of who he is. Think about the suspensions he's had. You know what I mean? Think about the trouble he's gotten into. You know what I mean? And think about how Titus O'Neil got suspended for just grabbing Vince's arm.
Right.
And
90 days at that.
Randy been horrible to women. Like, I mean, his track record is... But he gets to live and he gets to go another day. Like, it just... It's things he'll never face and won't understand. And I don't need to get him to understand it, but understand you're going to get this clap back.
Right.
Oh, you're going to get this clap back. Oh.
My thing is, and I stress this too hard. You know, I might not say it too much out loud. I might not, broadcast it over the world. But when I have these conversations with people, like, this is my old standpoint. Like, I don't give a fuck about your opinion if I know for a fact you can't fully understand where I'm coming from with this particular, when it comes to this, like, particular topics, just whatever the hell you want to describe it as. If I know for a fact you can't fully understand it, I don't care what you have to say. It doesn't matter to me. Like, you're right. Randy Orton is the epitome of white privilege. Like, please let me know, when the hell has he ever wanted for anything? Like, when the hell has he ever, like, not had his life just handed to him? Like, even now, like, that silver platter is there for him. Like, come on now. So, and we're not just talking money. Like, I'm not even talking money. Like, that's not even before we even start getting into all that bullshit. Like, no, we're not even talking about that. Like, I'm pretty damn sure somewhere along the line, like, it's just been situation after situation after situation where you're looking at him and being like, how the fuck did he get away with that? So for you to even think that it's okay for you to criticize another person, a person of color, for taking a stand against something that you don't understand, have several seats. Have a whole stadium of them, because ain't nobody got time for that. I definitely don't. I don't care. I don't give a what you think. Yeah. What you think matters not to me.
Here's the thing. I'm going to find it interesting what other superstars in the WWE say. I don't think anybody's going to take public opposition to Randy because of WWE politics.
Right.
I don't even think
of course
anybody is going to say anything controversial or bad because of the way the WWE handles its business. And just remember that Vince McMahon is very conservative, and his wife ran for a Republican Senate seat twice and wasted $90 million in an election.
Right.
So, I mean, I you don't have to wedge that into the conversation. So, it'll be interesting to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not telling anybody to take any kind of stand. And I'm not going to criticize anybody for not taking a stand because I understand the political nature of what's going on. Because when I'm at work, I ain't political at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't have none of these opinions, right?
Right.
I work probably 2 levels under somebody who was a fan of Mitt Romney. That's all I'm saying. So I kind of just, you stay your lane at work. So I don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we have a real expectation of public figures. So I'm not going to. In this realm here, when I get the mic and this is my company, Ringtime Pro Wrestling.
Right.
I spit my shit. You know what I mean? And the people who work with me or whatever, they can spit theirs however they choose. Anybody I have on this show, I will not censor you, even if I totally disagree with you.
Right.
But I will spit that real, for lack of a better term. If you read, it's the reason why kind of like sports exists, because I want to, you know what I'm saying, get these things out. Okay, and even at kind of like sports, that's what I'm there for. But I think that's what I'm going to leave it here, because we like 20 minutes into the show, Keith. We said we had 2 hours worth of show before this happened.
Right.
And I'll put some notes before it, you know, like, hey, you can skip the first 19 minutes if you say what you're here for. Because I get it. For some people, this is not what you're here for.
Right.
So,
and we get
but
that.
I got to get this off my chest.
We understand. But
and this guy put it on my heart when he started.
Right.
Hey, man, I had to get it off. So
just know that when you, like, I know, Keith, you understand as much as I do, as anybody else does, that when you put yourself out in the public eye like that, when you say things like that in a public realm as broad as Twitter, you open yourself for everybody's opinion and criticism. So, yeah, of course, and it's crazy because I was just online, like, you know, oh, let me look through and see if I can find these results real quick. And, like, Randy Orton said something about Colin Kaepernick. Oh, let me see what he said. like, yeah, I want to know. That's just me. This is how much I keep up with these things. I mean, I've spent most of my day-to-day watching the Senate banking hearing with the CEO and chairman of Wells Fargo. Like, which was very hilariously interesting, by the way. So, yeah, when I tell you I keep up with things that I am very passionate and just very interested in, like, I'm all in. So don't. And I think this is, of course, as you've heard and as you can see, this just happens to be one of them, and will always be one of them. So this black female will definitely always know what the hell is going on when it comes to that. Just so y'all know. But that's not what we're here for. I mean, hey, we're going to talk about it, but I know, as Keith has said, you know, that's not what y'all came here for. No, is it, Keith?
No. Most of y'all came to hear what we had to say about this week in wrestling. A lot going on. We almost forgot about Clash of Champions. 2 pay-per-views a month, man, going to be heavy.
Yeah.
But, mind you realize Bound for Glory is going to happen next week? After that?
Man.
These other companies ain't stopped doing their business. I haven't even looked at New Japan World to tell you what's going on over there. I haven't been at, you know, a lot's been going on.
Right.
Football's back. I got fantasy teams. I got the fan duel going, Keith. It's just going crazy, right? Then I got life, work.
Because you got to take care of that.
Yeah. I'm getting bills from people about bulls. Man, okay, to not derail, but I've been watching about wrestling enough. TNA is getting really interested, and we're going to talk about the potential sale and people who are trying to buy TNA and what that could be. So, with that being said, let's rock and roll, Keith.
Cool.
Raw kicks off in Memphis. Memphis, one of the best cities of all time, one of the best territories of all time. Hey, Memphis is one of the top cities in the South as it goes, but for wrestling, it is a major, major landmark. It is one place that has a very storied history. Mm-hmm. I think the fans are very into it and enlightened, and they gave them Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns in a steel cage match. And Reigns will get Rusev at Clash of the Champions for the U.S. title. We kind of knew that was going to happen because when Rusev won his match last week, that, hey, something had to happen, right?
Right.
But we also ends up with Rusev versus Seth Rollins to open up the show.
Which was interesting in itself, I must say.
So it's a big part of the Seth Rollins babyface push. Big part.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really too the match was interesting even at the end. But it was just kind of like, what the hell? I guess that was just me. I guess it's just me giving my take on it. But it was just kind of like, seriously? Like, what is this? You know? I guess I didn't really... I got it, and I understood it, but it was just kind of like, okay. Like, because Seth looked good. Don't get me wrong, he did, but it was just... I don't know. It took a turn that I didn't expect, and it just kind of went sideways after that. So, I didn't know what to think of it.
I thought it was a solid match. I thought it did Rollins a lot of favors. It showed him as a tough guy. I always told you his moveset was better set for a babyface. And he worked himself out, and he put Rusev in a bad way. It was a double count out, so nobody took a loss.
All right.
You know, I thought all in all we had a good run there. Mick Foley made changes to the Sasha Charlotte match after Dana Brooke and Charlotte showed him some video footage of the double pin that we talked about last week.
Right.
Apparently everybody else finally saw it. So Bayley will be a part of the match, and it will be a triple threat match at Clash of Champions.
Do you think... Well, wait. I'll wait till we get to that conversation about Clash of Champions before I ask that question.
No, go ahead.
Do you think there will be any heel face turns during that match? Like, after that? This, that, and the third? I asked that question because I feel like something's coming. One of these women are about to turn. Like, I don't really think that it's going to stay this way, you know? Maybe that's just me, but I just don't see Charlotte being this heel and Sasha being this face for too long. So maybe I'm wrong, you know. I just I get that feeling that it's coming. It might not be then, it might not be, but it's coming though. It's coming. So I just thought I had to just kind of throw that out there a little bit.
Yeah. How do we? I think Charlotte will stay heel. I think she's naturally better there. Sasha, I think she's always going to teeter, right?
Right.
Because I don't. Her personality is the boss, so it always has elements of heel. But I think she's too popular right now.
Yeah.
They just have to give her an edge a little bit while Bayley's there, because Bayley is. If Charlotte's on the extreme of heel, Bayley's on the extreme of babyface, right?
Right.
Sasha's more of a tweener. It's enough room in wrestling for all three to coexist. I will give you example: Rock, Triple H, Stone Cold.
Yeah. That is a great example.
It's enough for all three to exist. Braun Strowman takes down Sin Cara. You know, ain't like you expect anything different.
Right.
I don't know when we're going to actually face Braun, you know what I mean, up with a challenge. I assume it's coming down the pike, but I guess it has to be right too, right?
Right.
Like, you can't just have him in a feud with somebody for no reason. And I think it has to be beneficial. Or if it's beneficial to him, it can't totally destroy the other guy either.
Yeah. So there can't be this Braun jobber situation when it comes to that particular, when we talk about that particular situation. The question is, what do you do with Braun Strowman that's not in that category of, oh, we're just going to have him come out, beat him up, and leave? You know, when does he face someone that could be considered a credible competitor and ends up in a feud with him? Like, how do you put him in that situation? Exactly. Do you just have him randomly attack someone? And then explain why later? Like, what do you do with him? Because Braun doesn't really talk. He doesn't really talk. He's big, he's scary, he's intimidating, like...
he's physically opposing. Okay, you got to get his ring work up to par.
Right.
They're gonna have to, he doesn't necessarily have to be a talker. I don't know what the long range goal for him is either. Right.
Right.
Is he just an attraction? How are we working him into the grand scheme of things? I like the domination thing right now. There's no reason for him to be vulnerable anytime soon. But I think it's a matter of the ring work getting better and just finding the right opponent that feeds your long-term goal. Like, is he going to be a title contender down the road somewhere, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Charlotte and Dana Brooke defeat Bayley and Sasha Banks. That whole thing is kind of combustible, right?
Right.
Because Dana Brooke is a whole other element to the whole thing we were talking about. I don't know if Dana Brooke ever becomes a babyface, or if she just gets tired of Charlotte's shit. Like, who knows where that goes?
I mean, eventually she will get tired of Charlotte's shit. I mean, who wouldn't get tired of somebody slapping them and pushing them? And are you serious? Like, Charlotte just fully abuses Dana, and at some point she's just going to be like, I can't deal with this shit anymore. It's going to happen. We just have to figure out. I guess we're just kind of waiting on when, you know? That's all there really is to that. And it's not even, it's funny kind of waiting for it to explode. Like, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I'm just kind of waiting on it to explode and be like, you know, and become a totally different situation. But the thing is, what do you do with Dana after that? And how do you... I guess there's something that's got to be foreseen, because the question I was going to ask was, like, how do you kind of repackage her to be a different person? But that's possible. You know, anything's possible. So, I mean, we just have to wait and see.
I didn't like how they had her stand up for herself last week. And then this week she was right back into the same, oh, I'm sorry, Charlotte.
Right.
Like, she snapped on Charlotte. She smacked her. She ended up in a triple threat match then. It's like, oh, Charlotte, I'll kiss your butt again.
Exactly.
Like, it's just no consistency with the character. Like, either the character's going up an arc or down an arc. They're not about to stay the same.
Exactly.
Or play yo-yo. Like, they're going to go there and then come back. You know what I mean? But
it's ridiculous.
Cesaro evens his series with Sheamus 3-3. Yep, that happened. We kind of knew that was happening, right?
Right.
So now, I guess at Clash of Champions, they'll go for the final 7th match.
Man, I didn't think that they were going to just let it be done and over with before match 7. It was inevitable. It was inevitable that they were going to go 3-3. You know, I mean, of course, they could have always ended it before that and all of that. You know, they let Sheamus go up, 3-0 just to kind of get people on edge. And, oh, my gosh, Cesaro's going to lose and, all that kind of stuff. So, we'll see. But I am glad that it's going to match 7 because now you get to predict the definitive winner in the series. But my question is, like, what do you do with the winner? What kind of title shot do they get? Do they get a trophy? Like, are we looking at a medal? Like, what are they going to do?
Well, it gets a title shot. Here's the thing. You can use them either way. I think the more functional would be a world title shot, hypothetically.
Right.
Let's say Cesaro wins and he gets a title shot against Owens. I think that feud would be relevant for a few months. But it'd be relevant him and Rusev, right?
Right.
Sheamus, I don't want to see a U.S. title with Sheamus and Roman Reigns. Because you got to think that the winner is going to do something opposite. So his feud is going to be with somebody opposite of him, right?
Yeah.
Or they may not invoke that title shot right away. I'll say this. Least compelling best of 7 series ever. I haven't looked up all-time best of 7 series in wrestling. Go put this in the least compelling.
There's been some good ones.
This is no Benoit Booker T. I'm just saying.
Right. I forgot they did a best of 7. And I was just thinking about that earlier today. I was like, didn't Booker T do a best of 7? But I could not remember for the life of me who he was against. I swear. Thank you, Keith. Thank you for reminding me.
They can't really talk about that one.
Of course not. But no, it wasn't about them talking about it. It was just I was thinking, I think I was going through Raw again earlier today. And I remembered, them mentioning the best of 7. I think I was on the part with Cesaro and Sheamus, and I was like, wasn't he in the best of series? I could not remember for the life of me, who he was up against. But I remember that he was in one because I remember seeing a couple of the matches. And I was like, man, who was he in that series with? I totally forgot it was Benoit. It wasn't just a matter of them mentioning it. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I just couldn't remember who was the under contender in it. And
the thing is, it's easier to remember if somebody jogs your memory. That's why I just say it's kind of hard to remember what. They're not going to talk about that no more.
Yeah, which is true. That was weird in itself anyway, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into that. The way that Hall came about was weird in itself anyway. I'm just not going to go into that. So, but, yeah.
Yeah, so Benoit and Booker T actually had 2 best of 7s. One was for the TV title of WCW.
Which is crazy, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, it's funny, actually. To me, I think it's funny that even happened twice. But, again, it was just kind of weird. What the fuck? So, best of 7. Hey, you ever think that they're going to have a women's... Have they ever had a women's best of 7?
I don't remember one, but, TNA would have done something like that before WWE.
Yeah, which is true.
So, that's not happening. There was a 10-man tag match because everybody and their grandmama showed up to the ring.
Right.
Where Jericho was, there's a fatal 4-way for number 1 contender. What was that for? Keisha, I don't even remember what the fatal 4-way was for.
Oh, the fatal 4-way was the number 1 contender for the cruiserweight title.
Okay, that's what it was. Yes, it was Brian Kendrick who won it. Graham Metalik, Cedric Alexander, and I want to say Rich Swann. Yes,
that's correct.
Okay, these were not all your best cruiserweights.
No,
I like the. Also, here's the thing. They introduced them to the show. They introduced the winners. How the Cruiserweight Classic went down. I thought the presentation could have been a little bit better. And I would have liked another Cruiserweight match towards the beginning of the show.
Right.
So they're going to have to cut out some talking somewhere. And I would like maybe in the first hour, 1 Cruiserweight match. Maybe as a kickoff match for the show. WCW gave you the blueprint. I don't know why y'all messing around. When it was winning the Monday Night Wars, not when it started tanking. But in the beginning, when it was winning the Monday Night Wars, right?
Right.
Those opening cruiserweight matches were very compelling that first hour. Then you worked your way into your other matches. Because these guys are extremely skilled. They are best in the world. These guys have traveled all over the world. I mean, they've got the guys who got tremendous experience in places like Ring of Honor, places like New Japan, places like Chikara, PWG. You name the places. They've been to all of them, and they've all probably faced each other at some point. So the ring chemistry is crazy.
Right. Absolutely.
Guys who've been to CMLL, you know what I mean? Like, you can go through all the different worldwide promotions. And like I said, somebody has did sometime somewhere. So a lot of these guys have crossed paths. So they don't have too hard to work out a match. But, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's only logical that you would want to separate them and kind of scatter them around the show as opposed to just something like this. I thought, this is just me, I guess, being oblivious to the situation, but I thought that that's what was going to happen. I knew the Cruiserweight division was going to be a part of Raw, but I kind of expected this debut to be kind of scattered. Two Cruiserweights wrestle here, two Cruiserweights wrestle there, you know, there's this tag team situation, and, you know, I expected that. That's kind of where I was looking for, and kind of where I was at with the whole situation. So when just to see this one fatal four-way was just kind of like, okay, well, you know, what else are you going to do? Because I know this is not enough. Like, the content of the show and everything that goes on during the show, you can definitely fit this in there with ease. So, I mean, I don't really even know how to even elaborate more on that in itself, except to say, like, some things don't need a promo, and some things don't need a promo and, like, some extra stuff. Like, it just doesn't. So, we'll see how this goes. I mean,
yeah,
we'll definitely need to see how this goes. But Brian Kendrick is now the #1 contender for the Cruiserweight title. So that means the Cruiserweight title will be defended at Clash of Champions, correct?
Yes, that was what it was for. So we defended the Clash of Champions. Understand this. Brian Kendrick was there as the #1 contender because he has a name that people know. WWE fans remember him. I wouldn't have used him as my first #1 contender, but I can see why they used him. And hey, he's showing he got life in those 37-year-old legs. 37 isn't old by any stretch of the imagination. I want to get that out there. But, yeah, Brian Kendrick put in that work. So
he is.
How it comes out.
Yay.
With that being said, Keish, Roman Reigns defeated Kevin Owens in that steel cage match. Rusev showed up after the match. It was kind of anticlimactic, right? Like, you can do this, the usual, that was going to go down, they was going to lock the cage, they put the beats to rage. Now, Rollins showed up. And they go off the air really before it gets interesting. Right. Like, Rollins breaks up them beating up Reigns, and now you got 4 bodies scattered later around, and then we go off air.
All right.
I would have liked it if it was a little more like, because what you have now, but I get it. They got to sell you something, because something got to get you to come back next week. We'll probably get a tag match with Reigns and Rollins, right? Which will feed some Shield reunion talk. Because the hang-up in the Shield reunion is Rollins, right?
Right.
Well, he's a face now.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it being possible.
Yeah.
But how do you incorporate Ambrose into it?
Ambrose will bump into them at the next co-branded pay-per-view, which I don't think we have one until Survivor Series. But let's say he sees them backstage at Survivor Series and say, hey, man, you really trusting Rollins?
Right.
Roman tell him, look, man, you know, da-da-da. Dude, we got some different things going on, da-da-da. And something goes down, and it all blows up. They can book this to make it work by Survivor Series. But then you got to try to get all 3 of them on the same show, which you can make some trades and swaps. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, somebody can go to SmackDown and make it interesting over there, too.
This is true. This is definitely true. I don't know how you would pick that person, but it's definitely a consideration to look into. So,
off the top of my head, Cesaro. I think he's somebody who would benefit on the SmackDown roster and away from the Raw lights. Just off the top of my head.
Yeah. Hey, don't trust and believe. I get it. I understand it. But I thank you for answering this for me because I would have never thought about it.
Hey, I can make Rusev work on SmackDown. You think I could run Rusev as a monster heel on SmackDown? Top tier contender?
Mm-hmm. You could.
If Vince ever gave me the book, I could really turn some things around.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I know.
They've been saying it for 5 years. They just ain't listening.
Right.
But with that, this is our first break, and we will come back on the other side and give y'all some more wrestling.
First thing I want to say is, you guys have been too busy. I haven't seen you in Beverly Hills. You gotta come back out now and then. Jess, anyway, Flair, you made it all possible. That day you strolled out of the comfort zone of that nursing home. You could have sat back and watched the Horseman legacy live in infamy, but no! You let the Alzheimer's get the best of you, and now, courtesy of Barry Windham and the team of the 90s, we, right here on this program, next week, are going to debunk the Horseman myth once and for all. Get ready for lights, camera, traction.
What do you mean?
You know, Shivani, a lot of people seem to think that the Hollywood Blondes are just a couple of loudmouth punks. So what I have to say tonight comes straight from the heart. Arn Anderson, you're a fat pig. You totally disgust me. Ric Flair, you're a withered up old man, and your glory days are long gone. What's the other guy's name? Roma. You're a complete idiot because no one in their right mind would put themselves in the position that you have. But don't get me wrong, Shivani, I do respect what ability they do have. But let's face it, when push comes to shove, a fat man, an old man, and an idiot don't stand a chance against the Hollywood Bloods. And at that, I have no further comment. The blessed greatness is over. See you guys.
Next week, a six-man tag.
Brody, you gotta love them, don't you?
Flair, Roma, and Arn Anderson against the Hollywood Blondes and Barry Windham. It'll be our main event next week, and we are out of time.
All right, everybody, we are back on the other end. It is time for the birthdays.
Birthdays!
Wrestling has a few birthdays going down. Today, the 23rd, Friday, one Matt Hardy will be celebrating his birthday. Matt Hardy will be turning 42, the eldest of the Hardy brothers. Tomorrow, which will be Saturday, the Queen, or Princess, depending on where you slot her in hierarchy, Stephanie McMahon will be turning 40. The big 4-0. I thought she was already 40, but I guess not. She's turning 40.
Yeah, me too. I could have sworn. Well, yeah.
Other than that, there's no real birthdays until Asuka and Murphy both celebrate birthdays on Monday. And then Wednesday, the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
The Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman, has a birthday, Keish.
Really? Where is Steve Blackman? What is he doing with life?
Hold on, he turns 53. And there's another important birthday that day. So I heard.
So you heard.
Yeah, in the wrestling world, renowned wrestling journalist Keith Hope will be turning 37 that day, I believe. At least that's what my sources tell me.
Hey, how wrong can they be? How right can they be? They're your sources for a reason.
I just talked about myself in third person as if I had sources. That might have been the weirdest, most arrogant thing I've done since I've called myself famed wrestling journalist. But yeah, that's going down Wednesday. Like I said, I'm not working after I get off Saturday. I'm not working for 4 days. You might see me tweet some wrestling. That's about it. I'm not doing a lot. Websites, all that stuff. Yeah, I ain't gonna see too much going on. We will be going dark for a couple of days. So,
Yay!
you know, everybody enjoy their time off. September 26th, Black People Don't Work Day. Everybody stay home.
Right. Ooh, you know how much stuff would get shut down if we did that?
Yeah, no Black people go to work day. So, Keith, let's get to the news.
Please.
So, a lot's going on at TNA.
Yes, a lot.
They've signed the whole Rhodes family.
Which
Not
is
the whole
awesome.
family. But they signed Brandy Rhodes, which is funny. Cody Rhodes is owned by WWE, but Brandy Rhodes is not because she signed as Eden Styles as her name in WWE, right?
Right.
They did not think about taking Brandy Rhodes away from her. So she signs as Brandy Rhodes, and she is signed with TNA, and she is not going to be a ring announcer at TNA. She's going to wrestle. She is going to be a part of the Knockouts division. And
I'm excited.
I've seen some training footage, Keith.
How she look?
It looks good. It looks real. It's just going down. Because you got to be able to wrestle to be a knockout, right?
Right. Yeah, you do. You really do.
Like as much as the WWE and their women's revolution has happened, and like now the wrestling has gotten a lot better. I mean, TNA was ahead of that curve a long time ago.
Oh yeah, they definitely were.
They didn't sell it enough. Like that's one of those things. Like my number one itch with TNA, the things that you did differently and better than the WWE, you didn't push them out front.
Right.
Like when y'all was having last women standing matches, y'all should have pushed that.
Awesome.
I think what happened was they got scared with like, ooh, that's kind of brutal, and can people stomach that, and will people buy into it?
People love that stuff.
Not everybody, no, right?
Right.
But the people who will buy into it will love it. And I think you could go and you can get you another women's audience and pull them in and saying, hey, over here we do everything that the men do, maybe even better. Right? Like, cause that's how you have to sell this. Like, you can't just sell like, we try to do this new thing. No, like it's not. Over there, they treat women as second-class citizens. Here, women get the fair shot to do the thing. That would have been my selling points. But they didn't do that. They didn't sell the X division before. Look, watch what the WWE do with the Cruiserweight, which this could have. Do you remember how hot the X division used to be in TNA?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly how hot it used to be, and it was one of the biggest, it was one of the biggest things about TNA that set them apart from everybody else. It was it was one of the reasons why a lot of TNA fans watch TNA. If they didn't watch it for anything else, they watched it for the X division, because the X division was just that awesome, you know. Like, it was just that great. They did things that people wouldn't dare do, that people were scared to do, that they questioned. The X division had a uniqueness to itself that set itself completely apart from everybody. Like, there was no question that the X division was just that awesome. But it was overshadowed. Just like the Knockouts division, of course, the X division was also overshadowed, you know. Both aspects of TNA could have been the driving horse for TNA's success at any given point, had they just given them the time and effort, you know. Like, that's just it. What other company do you know has, other than Shimmer, what other company do you know has had at some point, even if they don't have it now, tag team titles for the women? Like, that other than TNA, I personally don't know of any company having that, period, for the women. the X Division title, the X Division matches, Destination X, like everything that was centered around the X Division made it that much greater. It just sucks that they didn't get to that they didn't bring it out like it should have been.
No, they punted, they dropped the ball. But speaking of Rose fans, Cody Rhodes is bound for glory, so we will see Cody Rhodes at Bound for Glory. So that's hot.
Right, of course.
Glad to see Cody in the mix. Now, I don't know when he'll make his debut in ROH, because he's going to do some time in ROH too. He's going to have a deal that's going to allow him to do both, which I think is going to be huge for both companies. WWE Awesome Kong has joined the cast for Glow. You know, the series that's starting on Netflix in the near future. She'll be using her real name, Kia Stevens. And she is playing the role of Tammy, who is described as an age TV actress.
Right.
Who was always a guest star, but never was the star. Here's the thing. Perfect for her. I like this idea. Because, like, Glow is going to be more of a television series than a wrestling show.
Right.
It's going to be a television series about a wrestling show, which is going to be based on the 80s classic Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. I think Awesome Kong is a perfect fit. She would have been incredible in Glow.
Yeah, I
agree.
Yeah,
this is awesome. No pun intended. And can't wait to see what she looks like. Can't wait to have Sirius drops on Netflix. To the point of, we might write up recaps every week.
Hey.
Or every...
Yeah.
Well, I'll probably binge it, so it won't be every week. I might binge the whole season and write up a recap. You know I ain't going to be able to, like, put it down, right?
Yeah, this is true. I mean, if anything, I can write the recaps every week, because, trust me, Leave, I have now learned the art of spacing things out and, you know, making it happen one at a time. It's hard. It is hard, because, especially with Netflix shows, because you're able to binge watch it as much as you want to. It takes a lot of patience and discipline to be able to separate it like that and be like, okay, I'll watch this next week. I'll watch this tomorrow. I'll watch this the next day. You know, it's difficult, but it's possible. It is not impossible. We'll see how this goes, but I'm looking forward to Glow. I can't wait. Like, I definitely can't wait.
More stuff that's kind of TNA, but not really TNA. Matt Hardy, after his contract expires with TNA.
What are they going to do with Matt Hardy?
Well, the broken gimmick is so over, and people have been saying delete since he has been going, even though TNA probably owns those copyrights. They want to probably use it, which, mind you, him and Bray Wyatt have had some exchanges over social media that they could probably set something up. Now, the thing is, in TNA, Matt has creative control over his character, which he will not have in WWE. Also, Matt doesn't want to work a full-time wrestling schedule.
Right.
What I would offer Matt, and this is what WWE needs to consider, right? They got a lot of vets. Like what they did with Team 3D, they let them have a run for about a year or so.
Right.
You don't even do a year. Y'all got so much programming TV. Hey, man, 90 days, 3-month run. I know how it's going to start. I know how it's going to finish. These are going to be your opponents. This is what the feud's going to be. This is what the idea is going to be behind it. Then you get to go away and do whatever you want. 3 months later, you come back, you can do another 3-month run if you like.
Right.
So you get 3 months off, and then if you want to come back and do another 3 months, you can. If not, don't worry. You can do another 3 months after that. You know what I mean? But every time you come back, it's a 3 months interval. So you can do 3 months, take off 6 months, and come back and do 3 months again. And I would definitely offer that to aging wrestlers. So guys in their late 30s, early 40s, they got that much time in the ring. So they get time to heal. And what happens is their characters don't get stale.
Never.
Because they go away, and then they come back and do whatever. The guys that have been in the industry long enough, they racked up enough income. Then, with the time that they're off, they can do indie dates because their time in WWE to put them back on TV, so now the indie rate goes up when they go back to the indies.
Right.
So, there's no real loss of income for any of the boys either. And, they don't get to work exactly the schedule they want while they're there, but, that time off will allow them to kind of, work out and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just some thoughts, Keith. Just some thoughts.
Hey, they're great ones, though. They are definitely ones that people probably have thought about themselves. So, hey, you got to put it out there. Otherwise, no one will ever know.
Yeah.
The thoughts are welcome.
So, the big news that went down this week, before Clash of Champions, before Orton became a dickhead, Billy Corgan, former Smashing Pumpkins, current TNA executive, was making a big push to own TNA outright, and is still in the mix trying to buy the company. But they say, according to the New York Post, the WWE and Sinclair Broadcasting may want in.
Wow.
And they both may have considered making offers.
Are we talking about a legitimate fight?
Yeah. Here's the thing. TNA has a very convoluted ownership thing going on right now. Aerolex Marketing owns the name TNA for right now because TNA owed them some money. They couldn't pay them. Things happen. Dixie Carter still has her ownership stake. I think Jeff Jarrett still has a minority ownership stake. Corgan got whatever he bought in when he bought in. I think right now they just want to have one owner, one vision, one force. The WWE, the only thing I can think they would want is the tape library. And they could probably try to use them as a little bit of a developmental. I don't know if they want to use the Pop TV time or not. That's kind of a relationship I don't know if they want to have. And I don't know if it violates their agreement with Universal NBC either. Now, what somebody has speculated to me is that they could run TNA Impact as a standalone show on the WWE Network. That would be crazy. Now, Sinclair has made interest in it. I don't know if Sinclair keeps the apparatus of TNA. I don't know if they run an invasion angle with ROH, or if they just make ROH take over TNA, use that Pop TV time slot for national distribution, and now we're off and running with ROH on that level. I don't know what the idea behind all of it is. Keish, any speculation?
No. I don't really know. I really just don't have any. I can't. How do you, why? How? It's so many questions and not enough answers, So, I don't know.
The WWE can use them as an invasion angle, too. Here's the thing. They've plucked the talent, right? At first they weren't interested in TNA guys, but they got a lot of TNA guys now. Right.
Here's the thing about because we both know that I have been watching. One of my new hobbies, for those of you that don't know, is watching what I like to call retro wrestling. So I like to watch older stuff. I watch classic stuff in the network a lot, and right now I'm in the middle of the invasion angle. So, it's funny how you mentioned that, because I thought about that, too. What if they did take TNA and plug in an invasion angle, and try to do it all over again? But it wouldn't work. In my mind, it wouldn't go the same. It wouldn't be the same. I probably wouldn't want to see it anyway, because now, as 15 years out of the original invasion angle, I'm starting to realize the flaws that were made during that time, and I don't know how I would really feel about them trying this again with TNA. At the same time, it would make sense, but I don't know what they would do with them. This is legitimately me telling y'all, I really seriously do not know, the direction, I don't know what they would do with them, other than take the talent and just kind of work them into everything else. What do you do with them at this point? It's questionable. I don't know. So
well, the difference is they would have the big stars available to them. So that is kind of different, right?
Right.
Like they'd have the A-list stars. AJ Styles is already in a contract. Robert Roode is under contract. If they bought TNA, they would have Storm. Now, could they use Drew Galloway again? Could they use the Hardys? I mean, there's some name value. It wouldn't have the punch that the old Invasion had. No.
Right.
In the old Invasion, the reality of it was failed because Time Warner had the contracts kind of convoluted. So guys like Hogan, Nash, Hall, they were in a contract with Time Warner and not WCW. Goldberg, Rey Mysterio, and they let those contracts run out before they started wrestling again. Because I guess they couldn't wrestle under those contracts. So they let those contracts run out because they were making more money than the WWE was going to pay them initially.
Exactly.
So it kind of created a convoluted thing where the Invasion really didn't get to pop off, right? Just like how they got Eric Bischoff after the Invasion, Ric Flair after the Invasion. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It could have been nuts, Keisha, if it was handled and the right people were available at the right time.
Right.
Like, I don't know how open Bischoff would have been to being part of the Invasion early in 2001. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was trying to buy WCW himself. So, you know what I mean? Who knows? But at the end of the day, I mean, who knows what anybody wants to do. More likely they wouldn't do an Invasion. They go, WWE would just buy that tape library and, you know.
Be done with it.
Yeah. Because the thing is, in putting together a Samoa Joe DVD, putting together an AJ Styles DVD now, putting together a Sting collection again, putting together a Kurt Angle collection.
Kurt Angle.
Use a lot of that TNA footage. Because he left a lot of good matches in TNA.
Right.
Kurt Angle versus AJ Styles is amazing. Like the 2010 and the end of 2009 matches.
Right. Incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible.
35 minutes, 5-star match, free TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, when they first start going at it, when Angle first comes to TNA, amazing. So, for all three of those guys, putting together the definitive DVD, you want those matches. When you want to sit down and tell a story, you want to do a life story of AJ Styles, how he got to WWE, right? His journey. Because they're going to want to do one. And I think it'll be awesome. But if you got the TNA footage, because you can't subtract 12 years of his career, New Japan won't be hard. New Japan plays ball. So New Japan will release the footage, and it won't be that much. And then you put the WWE stuff and you just take him through his life. You got a big deal. Also, they already own the WCW footage.
Right.
Them going to TNA, they can really tell his story. Because I think that's a compelling DVD to have. So yeah, I think that Sinclair to me seems like the more realistic. I want to buy this and do it for wrestling company purposes. Because I think you stretch out the roster. With another television partner, you can maybe make something happen where you can get more eyeballs on both promotions.
Right.
I don't want both promotions separately for right now. And start intertwining the talent and then maybe do joint branded pay-per-views.
Of course.
And then try to figure something out from there. But that would take a significant financial investment from Sinclair. I don't know how much they invested in wrestling like that. But it would take a big financial investment for them.
Right.
On other news and notes. Well, you know what, Keith? Let's go. Let's get ourselves ready for SmackDown.
Yes.
So, American Alpha returned to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And they faced the Usos, the heel
Usos. Yes.
But they lost.
Right.
I guess Usos still, but I mean, they wanted Usos to be ready. I think they wanted heels to face Rhino and Heath Slater at No Mercy.
Right.
I think eventually American Alpha gets the titles. I think what's going to happen, Usos are going to win the belts eventually. They may not win them at No Mercy, but I think they win the belts eventually. And then American Alpha challenge the Usos for the belts. And we're going to build them up as the come-up story that way. Because, they were already the favorite, but I think they want to get them a little bit more buzz cracking, and this is the way to do it.
Yeah, it is. It's incredibly the way to do it. Ew.
And the Usos being a top-tier tag team for the better part of the last 3 years, I think will really help these kids come along. I say kids, but yeah, kids, young guys.
Kind of, sort of, no. Yeah, I mean, kind of, sort of. The way it just depends on the way you're looking at it and the way you want to put it. So, kind of, sort of, here and there.
What are they doing to Apollo Crews?
Burying him. Like, in the simplest words that I can put it, possibly, that's exactly what they're doing with Apollo Crews. They're burying him. And, like, I don't care what anybody says or, any of that. I don't remember the last time Apollo Crews won a match. Like, it's been a minute. They're burying him. Like, he's there every week, just losing. And it's messed up because it's like y'all can do way more with him than y'all are right now. But that's exactly what's happening with Apollo Crews. He's just being buried, and of course the stance with the defense of what's happening with him would be like, oh, well, he's doing this and that, and blah, and yeah, they're burying him. Like, it's really sucks because Apollo Crews is actually awesome in the ring, and I just don't want to see his talent get wasted. So
yeah, I don't know. It's like, man, he has taken like a few jobs in a row. Like, wow, is that where we at with him? Like, creative has nothing for you. The Miz defeats Ziggler for the IC title. SmackDown's very anticlimactic.
Yeah. You're absolutely right about that.
Dean Ambrose defeated John Cena, though. Now, that's something to talk about. But, hey, not only does Ambrose beat Cena, he beat him clean.
Yeah, this is true.
But then AJ Styles, of course, decided he wanted to be there. And Daniel Bryan made an interesting match. So Tuesday, AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose for the world title on SmackDown Live before the pay-per-view, before No Mercy. So I guess the loser ends up in a triple threat match, but that's kind of interesting. So, like I said, SmackDown is very anticlimactic. So that leads us to our main event, Clash of the Champions. So let me give you a little history of Clash of Champions.
Something really near and dear to my heart. Clash of Champions. Now the history books, they're going to tell you one thing. I'm going to give you the real story. WCW, WWE, right away the young fans think, oh man, we're talking about Monday Night Wars. We're talking about Raw. And we're talking about Nitro. No. Way before that, there were shots in the entertainment industry fired. Clash of Champions had to be one of them turning points in the history of our business. When you think about Jim Crockett, myself, counteracting Vince McMahon in that evil empire, sent down an ultimatum to the cable system, says, you show Jim Crockett Promotions Starrcade, our premier event, we ain't gonna let you have WrestleMania. Ooh, that sound like a duel. That sound like, back-to-back 10 paces, turn around, boom! Shots for 5. Round 1 went to him. I was sitting around one day and I said, you know what? We got to counteract this somehow. Me and Mr. Crockett got together and we came up with an idea called Clash of Champions.
Please.
Back in the day, 1988, WWE and WCW had a little feud going on.
Right.
Couldn't stand each other. What had happened? Starrcade used to be a Thanksgiving show, which later moved to Christmas, right? Well, one year in 1987, Vince McMahon told the cable companies that, hey, y'all got to tell them to move it because I want to put on Survivor Series on Thanksgiving. The cable companies was like, I don't know. Vince said, look, y'all don't let me do this, I'm not going to give y'all WrestleMania. We know how big WrestleMania had gotten by then because it was after WrestleMania 3, Hogan slams Andre. There's a Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, for y'all who don't know. Pontiac stand up. So WCW didn't know how they was going to get back at WWE, right? So in '88, WrestleMania 4 came around, and it was on pay-per-view. Well, somebody at WCW decided to put together a card called Clash of Champions, and they put it on free TV on TBS, up against WrestleMania.
They did.
3 hours of hard free television, which is the culmination of the star rising of Sting. See, what happens is WCW, which was bought by Ted Turner at the time, because the Crockett's were having some issues financially, they purchased UWF from Bill Watts. Bill Watts wanted to get out of the wrestling business. He got tired of it, Well, they purchased UWF. They picked up some people like Dr. Duff Steve Williams, and they picked up this young up-and-coming cat named Sting, one half of the Blade Runners over there. The other half of the Blade Runner, you remember, is the Ultimate Warrior, who went to work at World Class, then eventually went to work at WWE. But I digress. They picked up this young guy. People said the guy has a good look. He got talent. Flair said, I can make this guy. And they go to Clash of Champions and have a 45-minute time limit draw for the world title. That time limit draw is where the star of Sting is born. But that's it. Free show.
Yeah.
Now,
True.
They went on to do this multiple times. So, not just against WWE pay-per-views, but just now they've got this thing here. So, let me tell you something. Growing up as a kid that didn't have a lot of money, and we barely had cable. Not always the cable that had a box.
Right.
The old just plug it back in the TV cable.
No, now it's the fancy stuff.
Right. So we got to watch some good wrestling via the Clash. Because you know when it would come on, TBS would hype it up. 8:05, you turn to TBS, and you got a pay-per-view for free. 3 hours of rock-solid matches. The best of the best. The titles was on the line. And they held nothing back. They eventually phased it out during the Bischoff era, but the Clash was a big deal. Now, for the first time ever, the WWE is using the Clash of Champions. And they're using that logo and that name. Which is an incredible name for a wrestling show. Incredible.
Very.
This year's card will be interesting. So, it is a Raw branded pay-per-view. So, Raw owns Clash of Champions. So, it'll be strictly a Raw show.
Yay.
And all the titles are up for grabs. Every title that is on Raw will be defended at Clash of Champions. So without further ado, let's get into this card.
Please.
Okay. So, is the only non-title match at the show. Sami Zayn gonna take on Chris Jericho.
Sammy. Oh, sorry. I was finna get into it. Let me calm down. You know I sing that every time he comes out to the ring. Like I be right there with the crowd, like I'm in the crowd. song's pretty awesome. Just saying.
I don't think so. I think Jericho wins. Sammy never wins the first match of a feud.
Why, man? That sucks.
Lovable loser, I guess.
That just sucks. Oh, that sucks.
And I was wrong. It was not the only non-title match of the show. There are a few non-title matches on the show.
All right.
But yeah, I'm going to go with Jericho. I think the grizzled veteran wins the first round. I think Sammy has an incredible showing. And I think this will be the first match of the main show. Because I think on the kickoff show, it's going to be Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox. Now, I mean, there's no real mystery here. Nia Jax is going to kill Alicia, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Of course. Like, she's going to destroy Alicia. That's just going to be the end of that. It sucks. I feel for Alicia. I'm praying for you, girl. You hang in there. You're tough. Somewhat. You can do it. Because I wouldn't. I've been ran 6 ways away from all of that. Like, no, I think I'm good. Thanks. I'm good. Bye. So, but enough of that.
Right. So, yeah, Nia Jax will defeat Alicia. I got Jericho over Zayn. You got Zayn over Jericho.
I sure do.
T.J. Perkins will defend the Cruiserweight title against Brian Kendrick.
T.J. Perkins is going to retain. They're not going to have the Cruiserweight champion changing hands. They're not going to have the title changing hands this soon. I don't see it happening. So, yeah, definitely Perkins is going to retain his Cruiserweight title.
I will 200% agree with you. I think there's no reason to believe that T.J. Perkins will not walk out with that title.
What? Seriously?
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm saying. I don't think there's no reason why he wouldn't walk out with that title. I think Brian Kendrick will put up a good showing, but I think Perkins will eventually walk out with his belt, same way he came in. Like, I think it'll be a good inaugural pay-per-view for the Cruiserweight title, but Perkins, they're going to ratify Perkins should have been champ. Best of 7 final. Cesaro and Sheamus. Who you with? In the words of the late great Bernie Mac.
Cesaro. I've always been with Cesaro. I'm all looking for Cesaro. I think this is his time to definitely have something made in his favor. This is that final step to the push that is needed, that has been asked for, that's been screamed about. Like, that is him. So, not only that, but I really feel like Cesaro definitely is just a little bit better than Sheamus. I'm just saying. So, yeah, I'm definitely choosing Cesaro for this.
Yeah, I will agree. Cesaro is better than Sheamus. Like, I don't even want to get that impression. But yeah, I think it's time for Cesaro to make his claim, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, but
it will be.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cesaro. I think he has the most upside of winning this, right? Like, him winning this best of 7 makes him probably more interesting than anybody else. So that's that.
Right.
Charlotte, triple threat match. Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley. Who wins? Wow.
Woo! This is tough. The reason why I say that is because we're talking about Charlotte, Sasha, and Bayley here. So this is rough. Personally, I think the title changed hands. Now, if it's going to be on Sasha or Bayley, that's the questionable part of this whole situation. I don't really know, like, how to even fathom, like, just I really don't know how you can come up with an answer for this one, because all three women are incredible as shit in the ring, and like they have everything when it comes to this. So it's like I don't really know how to pick a winner. I don't. And in times like this, you kind of just be like, all right, let's get a definitive winner in this. Let's go ahead and just kind of focus on that one person. So, Keith, I don't. I think this is the first time in a long time I can honestly say I don't have an answer for you. Like, like I really don't. I don't have an answer for you because in my mind it could be anybody. So, there you go. I mean.
I'm going to go with, I can see shenanigans. I think Dana Brooke will make her presence felt, and that's going to cost somebody something. I don't think the belt returns to Sasha that quick. So I'll do that process elimination. Does Bayley get it this early coming onto the roster? That definitely shakes things up, right? Because Sasha will think she got a claim. Charlotte thinks she has a claim. I think Charlotte retains, and maybe Dana Brooke gets it right with her interference. Or maybe she just has to take out one person. They hope Charlotte get that pin. So I would say Charlotte keeps her belt.
Yeah. I can see that. I definitely can see that. Especially when you go back and forth like I am right now in my mind of having someone out there to... Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. So...
On the flip side, the New Day defend their tag team titles against Gallows and Anderson of the Club. Do the Club finally get over, Keish?
Yes. Yes, they do. I love the New Day, and I am big fans of the New Day. But I think this is the one time where I honestly say the Club finally gets over. They become the new tag team champions. I think it's time for a change. I think that that change is going to happen. And it's not like the New Day aren't incredibly loved and wanted, because of this whole of their own image in itself. Yeah, it's definitely about to, but it's definitely about to, it's going to change. So, Gallows and Anderson are going to be our new tag team champions, and I hate to say that. I hate it so much because I love the New Day. Like, I think the New Day are like I think this is one of the most incredible ideas that they ever came up with for them. But they're not going to win Clash of the Champions. Like, no. They're not going to retain. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I think Gallows and Anderson, I think it's their time, right?
Right.
I think we rode that long enough. It's been like over a year. I think they've set the tone for them to win the belts, and then we'll see what New Day do after that. But we've set the tone for Gallows and Anderson to finally win the belts. Rusev versus Roman Reigns, United States title match.
This was one I didn't really care for too much. But since it's out there, I don't know. Rusev will retain the title. Roman has bigger fish to fry. And I think that having that belt would be a distraction. Definitely it's going to be all about Rusev. He's going to retain this time. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something or whatnot. But this is my own personal opinion from me to you. So this is my personal opinion about that. Just saying. So big guy versus big guy. I mean, it's not like their matches are bad. Like, it's nothing like that. It's just I don't see Roman actually walking away with the U.S. title. And maybe they'll shock me, and he does. But any time that it's asked about it, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't really know about that. So Rusev's going to retain. That's all I can say about that situation.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, we are really giving it up for the heels, but yeah, I think Rusev keeps his belt. As much as they want to push Super Roman, I think Rusev keeps his belt.
Right.
There may be some shenanigans. A lot of may get involved, but I think Rusev finds a way to keep his title. World title match. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. WWE Universal title. Best in the universe.
Right.
What you got?
This is tough. Because you have, on one hand, I can see the title change being positive. But on the other hand, I don't see it happening because of it being too early. So I see Kevin retaining, and I see it being the Kevin Owens show for a little bit longer. Seth is going to let down himself, but he is definitely going to put up a fight. This is going to be a great match. I'm actually excited about seeing it, but I really think that Kevin is going to retain this title. Period. Like, it's going to be different. By hook or crook, he's going to retain this title, though. Like, Kevin will have that belt for at least another month or so. Because I really feel like it's just, I don't know if Seth is going to really have the Universal Championship just yet.
No, I agree with you. I think Kevin keeps the belt. Like I said, I'm going strong with heels this one. I think he has the more compelling storyline.
Yeah.
I think he's the most dangerous. I think it's going to be, once again, hook or crook. I think Triple H maybe makes his presence felt to the point where we divert Rollins over to Triple H.
Yeah.
And we set up Rollins versus Triple H at the next pay-per-view. And then we can go Owens and the winner of the best of 7.
Right.
So I'm going to go with, yes, Owens wins. It's going to be dramatic. There will be somebody still in this match, but he will come out with the belt.
So, I mean, it's going to be, I feel like the pay-per-view itself is going to be a very interesting spectacle to see. Heels are definitely favored. They're favored by both me and you, in this pay-per-view. Except, I think the only two people that I favor that aren't heels are Cesaro and Sami Zayn. So it's going to I definitely have to watch and see how it all plays out, with them being the favorites in this entire, I don't know, like, to know that this is going to be every 2 weeks is definitely something a little bit more expensive. I love the pay-per-view, so it's definitely going to be different, but I think Clash of the Champions is going to outdo itself. I just hope that they don't do it. The one thing that I thought was bad about Backlash was that it felt a little SmackDown-ish, like it felt like I was watching an episode of SmackDown Live at times. And I hope Raw just kind of lets it be a pay-per-view and just kind of tone that down a lot, so it doesn't feel like I'm just watching another episode of Monday Night Raw. But other than that, I can't wait. I can't. So definitely encourage everybody to watch on Sunday and see if our predictions are correct. Because we could be all the way off and don't even know it. It's always incredible to see what comes out of left field. I don't know. It's Sunday.
Right. So we have all our answers Sunday, and it's going down. And we will be back next week sometime with another show, recapping all the interesting week events. And with that, this is Keith, and I'm out. Keish.
Hey, peace, everybody. We'll talk to y'all next week.